She tried to keep me out of my own child's birth. Imagine that. My wife screaming my name from behind a locked hospital door, security standing in my way, and our HOA president, clipboard in hand, smug little smile saying I wasn't authorized to enter. That's how far it went. That's how twisted it became. And the worst part? For a second I almost believed her. I'm Marcus Reeve, just a guy who wanted to hold his wife's hand while she brought our daughter into the world. But in Fox Ridge Hills, nothing was simple. From the moment Selena started showing, we had a target on our backs. First, it was unauthorized planting when she put lavender by the porch. $45. Then excessive mechanical noise because I used a drill past 7 p.m. while building the crib. Another fine. Trash bins, porch lights, gate passes, you name it. Judith Weller, our HOA president, turned it into a violation. She ran the place like it was her own empire. And me, I was just another nail sticking out of her perfect picket fence. The night Selena went into labor, the nightmare peaked. Placenta previa. High risk. We knew every second counted. But when the ambulance arrived, the HOA gate wouldn't open. The system flagged us non-compliant for leaving during lockdown. Selena bled through the sheets while EMTs argued with a keypad. In the end, they rammed the gate open, but she was already half conscious when we reached Memorial Heights Hospital. I thought the worst was over. Then Judith showed up. She stood behind the security guard outside the maternity wing like she owned the place. Per the board's emergency ruling, your wife's transport violated curfew. Your presence is unauthorized. That's what she said, as if my daughter's birth was some HOA committee meeting. I wanted to laugh in her face, but my chest was so tight all I managed was, "This isn't your call." Her smirk didn't even twitch. In her world, rules beat blood every time. I tried pushing past, but the guard blocked me. And for the first time in a long time, I felt it helplessness. Real, gut-deep helplessness. Selena was behind that door, wires in her veins, surgeons prepping a knife, and I was standing useless in a hallway. My fists shook. My throat burned. I thought of my dad's old words, "Home is where your people are safe." And I realized we weren't safe. Not in that hospital, not in that neighborhood, not under her watch. Part of me wanted to give up right there. Just sit down, swallow my pride, and pray Selena would make it through without me. Maybe that's what Judith counted on, that I'd break. That I'd believe her rules had more weight than my own family. I almost did. But then I remembered something. 6 months earlier, when HOA installed their shiny new surveillance system, I'd mirrored their network. Not illegal, just a passive log of every packet, every ping, every time Judith touched her digital toy. At first, it was a hobby nerd stuff. Now it was survival. I had proof she'd been altering timestamps to retroactively nail families, and if she did it here in my wife's case, that wasn't policy. That was fraud. I hunted down Dr. Kelvin Ma, our OB, in a stairwell. He looked wrecked, dark circles, coat hanging loose. He tried to brush me off, said his hands were tied, but I pressed. Did Judith authorize that restriction through the hospital admin? He didn't answer, but his silence said everything. He'd seen it. He knew. He just didn't want to say it out loud. I told him about the logs, the discrepancies, the forged times. I told him if he stayed silent, he wasn't neutral, he was complicit. He didn't promise me anything, but his eyes gave him away, fear mixed with guilt. He knew the truth was coming whether he liked it or not. By morning I had more than suspicion. I had data, log trails, XML files, admin credentials pointing straight to Judith. I called my attorney Vincent 2 hours away and handed it all over. Then I made another call to an old friend from grad school, Darlene, now an investigative reporter. I don't need a segment, I told her. I need noise. And noise she made. Channel 6 started sniffing around asking questions. By then Judith was doubling down, filing cease and desist orders, whispering to hospital brass about liability. But I wasn't the same man she'd blocked at that door. I had teeth now. The next day, Fairfax County Civil Court. Emergency hearing. Small room, no press yet, just me. Vincent, a laptop, and every log she thought was buried. Judith walked in like it was Sunday brunch, hair ironed flat, HOA pin glinting. She didn't even glance my way at first. That changed fast. Judge Rena Holstrom, sharp eyes, no patience. Petitioner, She said, "You claim falsified records impacted medical access. Show me." So I did. Plugged in the HDMI, pulled up the gate logs. Real time, 8:13 p.m. ambulance override. Her report, 9:42 p.m. Then the XML file, manual edits, comment lines. Don't use real gate logs. Force sync for hospital legal footing. Her credentials, her user ID, her home IP. The room went dead quiet. No spin, no excuses, just raw data glowing on the screen. Judith's smile cracked on the second slide. By the third, it was gone. Her lawyer jumped up, babbling about discovery and interpretation. Vincent shut him down with Dr. Ma's affidavit signed and sealed, confirming the override path was non-standard and never cleared by hospital legal. The judge leaned forward. So this was pushed through by a private homeowners association to block emergency medical access. Vincent nodded. "Yes, Your Honor, and we're asking for an injunction effective immediately." That was it. The hammer fell. HOA barred from touching medical transport, their logs under forensic review, Judith's empire collapsing one packet at a time. But it didn't end there. That night at the emergency HOA meeting, the community showed up in force. Packed room neighbors shoulder to shoulder, some furious, some scared, all ready to see blood. Judith tried her usual script talk of process protocols, internal reviews, but nobody bought it anymore. Deborah, the neighbor, whose husband missed dialysis thanks to gate delays, stood up. "You don't speak for us." The petition came out, signatures, stacked voices rising. And when I stepped forward with the same drive I'd played in court, the room fell silent. I held it up and said, "This is what she did. She rewrote logs to keep me out of my daughter's birth. She weaponized the rules against life itself. And now you decide if she keeps her seat." Vincent hooked the laptop to the projector. The XML file flashed onto the screen, the same damning lines, the same edits. Judith gripped the podium so hard her knuckles whitened, but she didn't speak. She couldn't. By the time the vote was called, it wasn't even close. Hands rose row by row, a tidal wave against her. Effective immediately, she was out. No appeal, no hiding. Just silence as she walked out the back door, the HOA pin still on her lapel, useless now. That's where it ended, not with champagne, not with celebration, but with her empire stripped bare in the very room she once ruled. And me, I wasn't smiling. I wasn't cheering. I was just breathing for the first time in days without her shadow on my family. Because here's the truth. Rules mean nothing when they're used to crush people. And power means nothing when you stand up, document everything, and refuse to let the silence win.